Regional news. There are hopes that the worst of the flooding on the River Wye is now over. The river levels dropping in Hereford, where houses were cut off and an old people's home evacuated. But attention switching to the River Severn. There's still a red alert in Shrewsbury, and downstream the water is expected to peak at Ironbridge tonight, Bridgnorth tomorrow afternoon and at Bewdley by the evening. The National Rivers Authority is monitoring the situation closely. The funeral service for one of the victims of the Coventry air crash was held this afternoon. Andrew Yates from Rugby died along with 4 others when their plane came down in Woodland. Earlier, the main section of wreckage was removed from the scene.
The first stage of the operation was completed with the removal of part of a wing and undercarriage from the Algerian 737. Throughout the day, planes flew over the crash site into Coventry Airport. Local residents have arranged a meeting to protest over low flying in 2 weeks' time. By tomorrow, most of the wreckage will have been removed, but the residents of this Willenhall estate say it will take much longer for them to overcome the trauma of this accident.
What we're trying to do now is separate the intact part of the fuselage from the very badly damaged part in the front of the forward pressure bulkhead. And they're now inside the aircraft, cutting through the mainframe members to separate it into 2 halves.
Late this afternoon, the surviving part of the fuselage was lifted clear. It's now being transported to Farnborough, where the investigation into the cause of the accident will continue.
British Airways says the future of its Birmingham to New York flights could be jeopardised if an American airline launches a similar service. British Airways began New York flights in March last year. Now Continental Airlines, the 5th biggest US carrier, is considering starting flights between Birmingham and Newark, just outside New York. That's it from me. I'll leave you now with the weather forecast and Peter Cockcroft.